Hello, I'm Vladimir Zakharov. I'm near the house in which Ernest Hemingway lived from 1931 to 1939. And during these 9 years, in fact, only 9 years, he wrote 70% of his works. That is, here he worked incredibly fruitfully from early morning until noon. The rest of his time he did various interesting things. For example, at 12 he usually began to drink, because once he promised not to drink until 12. And some friends said that from 11 to 12, he looked at his watch every 5 minutes. It's just such a funny fact. But at the same time, he was incredibly productive, and biographers said that these were probably the happiest years in his life. Now we will go into the house and make a small express audit of Feng Shui to see how the apartment affects the tenant. If you're interested in how I do this, you can find more at vladimirbook.com. So, see you inside. We are near the front door. Pay attention to the lowering of the threshold that creates the outgoing water. The steps are rather close to the front door, approximately of the height of the door, and then they downgrade lower towards the sea. This is perfect outgoing water. This is outgoing qi that favors cash flow. If we're talking about the entrance group from the point of view of the San Juan School, from the point of view of flying stars, we have stars 1-4 on the front door. But Ernest with his whole family moved into this house in the 4th period. Accordingly, the star 4 is the star of literature, research, art, which is activated by the front door. It was in time, plus the correct outgoing water towards the ocean. This means Ernest fully enjoyed the benefits of the School of Flying Stars, the San Juan School. If we're talking about the School of Three Harmonies, San He, as I say, the house has a rather strong formation for the outgoing water. Pay attention to the stairs opposite. It also supports the leaving water and is not Sha. Why is it not Sha? Why is it not a poisoned arrow? The door is wider than the stairs, so the incoming flow of qi is wider than the staircase. Thus, Sha is that penetrates the house and is that leaves the house. In this sense, this staircase is okay. And from the point of view of San He, the School of Three Harmonies, the door is in the southwest. The southwest is also associated in many respects with academic success, with achievements in science, arts, and so on. This is from the point of view of Imperator Feng Shui and San He. Now we are in the living room. It is such a large living room. It has the size of almost the entire depth of the house. Here's another cat. They say there are 54 of them now. At the time of Hemingway, there was one. And this living room is in the south. Open space, primarily outside, but also inside, supports the fame and glory of the inhabitants. That is, if you want to be famous, the south is your place. It must be open. It must receive solar heat, keep warm, and at night give qi its heat. Warm your glory. Such space is in the southeast and the south of the house. Now there is a tent, but yesterday it was not there, so obviously now there will be some kind of celebration there. They rented this room for a party after the museum closed, but usually there is a large open space. The large open space was in all the photos, so in times of Ernest, it was also open, and in many ways this contributed to its fame. Ambush it densely with trees, and there wouldn't be the world-famous Hemingway as we know him. We are in the kitchen now. Pay attention to the stove. The stove is a very important factor in the home, contributing to health, determining health, and is largely associated with study, with the quality of education of children and adults included. The stove is formally located in a room in which flying stars are 2-5. We consider them as the worst combination. But remember, this was the fourth period, so 5 had a growing chi that is not so bad. Also, if we look at the stove sector according to small tai chi, if we put flying stars on the kitchen, it is in stars 9-3, which are considered to create smart children or new smart sparkling ideas. We're in Ernest's bedroom now. If the bed stood right how it now stands, we wouldn't recommend placing it in such a way because it was in a void. This may not be so bad for perceiving some kind of transcendence in order to hear your muse, but this is not a good bed position for health and relationships. A very interesting fact is that these chairs were brought from Spain, and they were of the 16th century. They delivered babies on them. That is, these are the chairs of women in childbirth. Interestingly enough, the house faces southwest. The Kun trigram is also associated with fertility, with the fertility goddess, with the uterus and the woman. Here you see Ernest's office. He loved to spend time alone up there. Previously, there was a catwalk between the two buildings on top. Everything else remained unchanged. Now I will show you the stairs. It is very important from the point of view of the water formula. Look, here we have such a stairwell. Here is a transition to the rest of the house where the office is. But nevertheless, there is a lowering from the door, and it creates the so-called outgoing water, favorable for business, for cash flow, etc. So here we have Ernest's office. According to the guide, it was preserved almost in its original form. And pay attention that the table is almost opposite the entrance. Actually, the chair of the workplace is located almost opposite the entrance. And here we see another formation. If you pay attention to these walls, which are on the left and on the right, we have such a narrow corridor at first. Chi is compressed, and energy is compressed, then expanded. In terms of water formulas, this formation is called a money wallet. I am at the base of the house where Ernest's office is located. The staircase was not like that before. It connected the two houses, and here was a spiral staircase. However, there was still outgoing water. We need to get back to the idea of flying stars in the office. Remember, the table is almost opposite the door. At this place on the map of flying stars, we have a rear star 4, which patronizes literature, is activated if you engage in self-reflection, study, delve into yourself, meditation, literature. So this is one of the ideal stars in fourth period. Next, we have a pool. It was the first pool within 100 miles radius built in the 30s near Ernest's house. It is located in the east of the main house and southeast of the office. Activity and water in the east and southeast and lowland mean good cash flow. These are fast money in the east, a large amount of money in the southeast, so it is a wonderful structure from the point of view of Imperator Feng Shui. From here, we have a view to the study and the pool, and I go to the place where the upper catwalk to Ernest's office began. It was destroyed by a hurricane one day in the 40s, as this inscription said. I remind you once again that these are the most productive 9 years of Ernest's life. The most of his books were written during that period of Ernest's life on Key West, and accordingly, the catwalk to his office looked like this in those years. Please note that the leaving water still remains. Nothing has changed. There was only a spiral staircase to go down. Here is Ernest's photo on the spiral staircase. If you are interested in my work, how I do Feng Shui audit, visit vladimirbook.com. It is home to the many cats that have been bred here since Hemingway, and even a special law was issued, allowing keeping more than 4 cats in this particular house museum, so an exception was made. By the way, this house is quite durable, one of the most durable on the island. It is built on such a serious foundation, the windows are shuttered. But of course, Ernest was not its first owner. This was the man who, as I knew, built the house. And nothing happened to this house even after severe hurricanes, except of the catwalk that was destroyed. But what strikes me most about this house is the following. It is one of the 2 highest points of Key West above sea level, the place where the house is at 16 feet. The first highest point is 19 feet, so we have 3 feet in total of the whole difference. Basically, Key West is flat, and it is called Flatland Dragon from the point of view of Feng Shui. And on Flatland Dragon, the one at the highest point receives the most chi. Bangkok also is Flat Dragon, and in that area they build temples on an embankment, artificially raise them so that these temples flourish, so that there is intense outgoing water. So, if you're interested, like it, write comments, and visit my page, vladimirbook.com. There's information of how you can learn the great art of real Feng Shui by yourself, and not that kind of person who turns their houses into souvenir shops or Chinese restaurants with all kinds of baubles hanging on the walls and standing in the corners. See you again.